Hey, what's up? This is Big Ocean Sound, aka Chris Villanueva. I'm gonna make a super amateurish video here about what it's like to run a Spotify ad campaign. The purpose really is to help my fellow musicians run a campaign on Spotify if that's something that they're interested in doing. So I'll just make a really down and dirty, honest video, no production whatsoever, but basically just give you the rundown on what it was like for me and what kind of results I got from it, which is pretty decent. And I'll give you my rundown at the end as to whether or not I would do this again. But first, I'll take you through what happened and what my results were like. All right, so let's go ahead and share my screen here. All right, so got my Spotify Ad Studio here. So when you get started with Spotify Ad Studio, they're going to give you a nice little dashboard like this. And you'll be able to view your campaign at three different levels. So the campaign level, the ad set level, and the ads level. The campaign level is basically the most overarching level that shows everything for your whole campaign, essentially, how many people you've reached. Your ad sets more speak to your target audience and who you're reaching. And then the ads are this is the actual creative you used. Now, I'll preface this by saying that I only used one creative, and if I can go back in time, I actually would create more different ads to run this campaign off of. It's the smart thing to do that any marketer would tell you. I also would have created more ad sets, but just since this was my first time and I wanted to keep things simple, I just created one ad set, one ad, one campaign. So this actually should be pretty easy for me to tell you what's up. All right, so I spent the bare minimum money here, $250. That's what they recommend at minimum to spend. So I spent $250 to run this really simple campaign. And through that, I received 18,000 impressions on Spotify, 18.5K impressions on Spotify. This just means how many people were served my ad. So this is the amount of people that this ad ended up coming across. Doesn't mean they actually listened to the thing. They could have exited out, or they could have just not really engaged with it. But this just means that Spotify did its job and showed this to 18,000, not people necessarily, but 18,000 impressions. I'll tell you what that means later. 287 clicks. So out of those 18,000 impressions, I had 287 clicks from those impressions. And then this is what I would call results. This is really what I was trying to aim for, but actual listeners. So these are actual people who streamed my music for 30 seconds or more and who actually engaged with it. Otherwise, you're not a listener. It's not a metric. So out of those clicks, the funnel goes down to 146 listeners. Heck yeah, they're all new listeners. That's exactly what I wanted. All right, so this is the overall campaign level. We'll delve a little bit more into that in a second, but let's go on over to the ad set. So you get a little bit more detail on the ad set. This is actually the screen that I was hovering on for most of this ad when I was really excited and going crazy. But you can see that the click-through rate was 1.55. That's pretty dang decent. Doing some research, anywhere between 1 to 2% is a success. I was actually really hyped up because in the first 7 days of the campaign, the click-through rate was like 3 point something percent. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. But it dipped back down because Spotify kept serving like the same people. And it sort of evens out to around this level here. At least it did for me. So 1.55, this was the percent of people who clicked who were originally impressions. I'd say that's pretty decent. So if you know that you're going to get around 18,000 impressions, if you spend around $250 and you get a 1.55 click-through rate, that means you're going to get 287 clicks. Just really simple math. If you 10x my budget and you and you ended up getting 180,000 impressions in Spotify with the same click-through rate, then math, you're going to get 2,870 clicks. Look at that. So ads are math at the end of the day. So just remember that. Completion rate, that's just, these are all, let me just say, these are all free or freemium listeners. So pretty much if they want to continue listening on Spotify, they have to keep listening to your ad. So that's the beauty about Spotify ad, I think. They can't scroll past it. They have to keep listening to the whole thing. I'll show you my creative in a second. I'll show you what the ad was, but I just want to give you the breakdown about what happened first. All right. So I ran this from the 12th through the 31st. So a little more than 2 weeks. And this is pretty much how long it took me to get my results. Okay, before we go into the ad itself, the thing I want to talk about is the concept of intent rate. So this, at the end of the day, you don't just want people moving over into your Spotify, streaming once or not streaming at all and just bouncing off of it. You want people who actually are going to engage with your ad. You want people who are going to save it. Otherwise, you're never going to make it. I don't know what else to tell you. But you want to make sure, in order to make sure your campaign is effective, that you have people actually engaging with your music. And I think I did a pretty decent job here. And got 26% of the people who came to my profile to engage with it. So Spotify says that these are the listeners who take actions showing intent to stream your music again in the future. So they hit save or they added it to a playlist. And I even saw that on my own dashboard. I was excited. I saw people saving it. I saw people adding me to their playlists. And I saw my listenership and my fanship actually go up. Started from nothing. I actually had very few fans at all, like none. Just my sister and my good friends, essentially. But this campaign actually kicked things off for me, which was pretty solid. The thing that made me super happy is that my average streams per listener was 8.29. So this means that for every person who engaged from the ad, they listened to, on average, 8 songs. So I'd say that's a major success, and one of the best things here that says I probably would run this again. All right, if I haven't bored you already, I'm going to head on over to the actual creative. Let me go ahead and play that for you, and I'll show you how I came up with it. It was really simple. Okay, so this is the ad. Okay, wait, one more thing. Sorry. Obviously, this is an amateur video. The other thing that I want to talk about, so campaign, that's the overall level of your ad, essentially. The ad set is really important because the ad set basically says who you target. I chose to target a very specific type of person, and these were, I'll show you right here. It's pretty much the same stuff I just showed you, but where is it? It's an audio for Cascade desktop fans. So I chose in my ad set to target desktop people only because I saw another YouTube video that said to do the same. And you know what? I'll follow that advice again. It was pretty solid because freemium listeners, the only way they can save your music, I think, is through desktop. So that's why I did that. And that's why I was successful with my saves. I targeted people who liked Rufus Du Sol, Late Night Alumni, and Cascade. So all those 3 people, if you liked them, you probably got targeted in my ad. And I chose ages 13 to 34, which if I can go back in time, I probably would open it up to all ages, to be honest, because all ages seem to engage with my ad in other ways. But you, with Spotify, can target actual listeners of other artists that you sound like or who inspire you, etc. So that's another really big advantage of a Spotify ad. And like I said, if I can go back in time, I would create 3 different ad sets for this ad. I would do one for Rufus, one for Late Night Alumni, and another for Cascade. But I just kind of bundled it all together because I was just starting out. All right, let's go over to the creative. Hi guys, this is Big Ocean Sound. If you like house music but want more of an alternative vibe, then check out my single Discovery with my friend Vedra. The words I use to describe my sound are dreamy, haunting, and chill. Follow me here on Spotify and enjoy the drop. And then I just play the song. All right, so really simple. I feel like this was a success because I ended up getting a pretty decent amount of people from this small amount of money to engage with my music. But it's a really simple formula. I'm gonna. I used Logic as my DAW because I always use Logic. Created a project. And all I did was I took a song that I already created. So you want to attract the right people. So I wanted to attract people to come to my profile who would like a song that I have. So what better thing to do than actually include that song? So I included my most popular song, and then I took a 30-second snippet of what I think would excite people the most and draw people in. And then I recorded a voiceover basically telling people to listen to my music. And so I used some really simple formulas. I said, if you like house music, so I'm speaking to the right audience. So as I said on my ad set, I'm a targeting Rufus Du Sol fans and Cascade fans. So they probably like house music. And I said, if you like house music, and I added my own differentiation. I said, but you want something a little more alternative, then check out my new single. And so I gave them the call to action specifically to head on over to my profile. And that's really important, is to be specific with one thing and to listen to that one song. The key point here is I left a good amount of time at the end for people to listen to my song. And again, I said the beauty about a Spotify ad is that they're pretty much forced to listen to your whole 30-second ad. They can't click out of it, or they can't listen to Spotify. And they can't keep scrolling. It's not like a Facebook ad. So you're literally making them listen to like a 10-second clip of your song. So you better make darn sure that it's like the best 10 seconds. So I left time right here in my voiceover after I edited it. See, I'll show you. No, it's not going to work, of course, because it's not hooked up to the right. Give me a second. If I was a YouTuber and had an editor, I would edit that out. Okay, but so my sound are dreamy, haunting, and chill. Follow me here on Spotify and enjoy the drop. So I let the song ride out. This is like the drop. This is my favorite part of the song. And then I did a simple fade out just so it sounded smooth. Really simple. 30 seconds. Again, this was the ad that I felt was going to best serve people. All right. So in conclusion, pretty decent. Spent $250, got 18,000 impressions, and ended up getting 287 clicks and got some solid listeners. The listeners are really what count. Don't forget that. So I got 146 listeners, and like really engaged listeners, I think. So they were listening to, like they were streaming my songs, and then they were saving my songs. So all in all, I ended up going from like 7 monthly listeners to like 307. I actually used a Facebook ad to complement this at the same time. I didn't put as much budget into the Facebook ad. And so I would say a combination of that and this ended up getting me up there. What I would say to the question, would I ever do this again? Yes. However, it was pretty expensive. I mean, you can see right here that getting 146 listeners off of $250 it's pretty dang expensive. You have to pay more than $1 to get a listener, which is, I'll take it. I'm really grateful. But if I were to run a Facebook ad / Instagram ad, I think I could get it cheaper, and I think I can actually attract those people. Um, but overall, in terms of quality, I really liked the quality of people that this brought in over to my account because they were really streaming my songs, they were saving it, and it increased my listeners overall. So when I'm rich one day, or one of you guys donates another $250, I will run another ad. But that's my assessment for today. Wish you the best of luck in your own ventures, and sayonara.